Welcome to part 2 of this module. If you haven't already downloaded the steps of the exercise, do so now so you can follow the steps as they are in the video.
So let's think about putting this into action. Do you have an exercise for us around individuals within human systems?
We certainly do.
Of course. Let's do it.
So let's take, there are 4 items, and let's walk through them with you one at a time, okay?
Okay.
Think of a system of which you are a member that is working well. What are you doing that is contributing to its effectiveness? Or it could be a recent team. It doesn't have to be right now.
Right. Well, if I think about a team that I'm currently on, one of the reasons it's working well is that we've established a certain level of candor within the team. So if I find the leader is proposing something that is problematic, I will speak up and say, you're taking a risk by doing this because these things may result from that. So normally the team would be silent and just kind of take notes on what he said, but I'm actually challenging him on that. And that's kind of opened up some space for others to challenge each other as well.
Okay. Let's tweak it up. Tweak it a little bit. Think of a team that is working well, because that team was not working well until you started getting candid. So think of a team that was really working well.
Okay.
In fact, you mentioned one back in the last module.
Yes.
What were you doing that was contributing to that team working so well?
So I'm actually thinking of a team that was in a smaller organization. And in that team, we were very productive and very, we had this complex program that we were trying to deliver, and we were just clicking along. And we had developed systems to support ourselves in the process, like financial systems and, how do you get the work done, the paper systems, and who does what work. So it was really clear who was doing what, and things didn't get missed. We just were incredibly productive.
Now, what were you doing that was contributing to that great productivity?
I was checking in on the members of the team to make sure that they were getting the support that they needed to get the work done. I was checking in on them to make sure they understood and, that we were all aligned, that who's doing what on what particular part of the project. So it was a constant just, my role was really as, a project director to kind of communicate and be clear on who needed to do what in a specific instance.
So you were busy making sure that everybody was supported and everybody was listened to and so on. Yeah, super. Okay, number 2 is going to be a little different.
Okay.
It's going to be the opposite. Think of a system where you are or were a member that is not working well. What were you doing to contribute to that dysfunction? This one tends to get a little harder. Because no, I was not helping.
Okay. So I'm going to think of what comes to mind is another small organization that I was a part of, and this is more recent. And, there was a lot of dysfunction on this team. I was completely unable to get my work done. I was deferring to the system, if you want to speak. I was deferring to I didn't want to challenge anyone too much. I wanted to belong to this really cool organization.
Okay.
But as a result, I wasn't able to get the work done that I needed. I spent too much time just listening to other people and trying to understand where they were coming from, and as opposed to just really, I was in a way silent about the dysfunctions of the team.
the key words that you used in my mind is that you were deferring to the dysfunction of the system.
That would be right.
And that's how you were contributing.
That's
Now,
right.
We hate to think about that. I hate to think about that. It just happens to be true.
Yeah.
Because
I honestly didn't know what to do. I couldn't figure out what I needed to do in that instance. Yeah.
And the idea of getting some support or asking somebody never occurred to you. Yeah.
That's not true. I did ask for support from members of the system, but
you did not ask for support outside of the system, which maybe could have been helpful.
That could have been helpful.
Yeah, don't make that a should. No, it's just the point is that if we can find support, we can always come up with something that maybe we could have done.
Yeah.
But generally, when we have deferred, we just kind of close it down.
That's right.
We go along to get along.
Yeah.
Until we get ourselves out of there.
That's right.
All right. So actually, this moves us right into number 3. Is improvement needed with the connection between your goal and the goal of the system and or the other members? If that could have been helpful, what might you do?
Yeah. So in that example, I was just thinking of the team that I was a part of. My goal was not the goal of the system. And that became abundantly clear.
Uh-huh.
So I was really clear when I was brought on board, this is my understanding of my role. But the system, the other people in the group had a completely different idea of what my role should be. And although we kind of had a verbal agreement, there was no agreement on what my role was. And so everything I tried fell flat. There was a few successes here and there, but everything I tried fell flat because I didn't really understand what they needed. They didn't really understand what I was trying to do, and we never really got aligned on the goals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think it was because we didn't even speak the same language, is what it came down to a certain extent.
If you happen to walk into that situation again, what would you do differently?
I would turn around and walk out. Is that an option?
Yes, okay. That is an option, but not useful right now.
Okay, sorry. If I were to walk into that system again, I would just be really clear on what very tangible goals, achievable goals that we could agree upon for my work within that system. As opposed, because what was happening is I would have gotten more clarity on the goals of the system.
Well, now you had an agreement with the person that hired you about what you were supposed to do, right?
That is correct.
So another route could be that the two of you together would talk to this human system, this team, about this is Ronnie's role here. Right. What do you think would have happened?
I did try that, and that there was just not clarity on what my role was.
Okay.
And this what it kept coming down to. I was a thorn in the system.
So and you were clear, but nobody else really was.
I wasn't clear with others on what I saw my role to be.
Got it.
And so some people I saw it was pretty clear on, but yeah, I think there was just a lack of trust among all the members of the system that really resulted in it just not working out in the end and having to leave. But I think the other part of it is, one of the things that surprised me is that I didn't even know who was a part of my system until I got on board. And that was a big issue.
Actually, that's an excellent point. that if we don't even see human systems, it's hard to see who are the people who will impact us and that we are impacting, and then it really becomes kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the crazy. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's move to number 4, but we're going to
Please.
just a little bit.
Okay.
Let's say it's that same system that even the members who are already there do not trust each other. I mean,
Right.
that the connection is poor between them. And now you come in as their leader. What might you do to help them reconnect with each other?
I think, earlier on, I should have just forced a meeting where everyone was in the room to discuss what is it that we're trying to do here? What is the goal of the system? That's just number 1. I could have done that.
Okay, that's number 1, but let's move to number 2, because this question is about how would you improve the connection among the members? This is not with the goal, but the members with each other.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, I think, but then to me, those two are related. If we could agree as a group upon the goal, that would have improved the connections between the people.
Okay.
So, but I think that part of the big thing I should have done is within a couple months, I realized there was a problem between members of this human system that preceded me even being there.
Mm-hmm.
And that problem resulted in a lot of back conversations. And those really needed to be brought. Like everyone should have been in the room to have the conversation about the problems in the human system.
Yes.
So I could have pushed harder to make sure those conversations happened, is one thing I could have done. But instead, it festered and it got worse. And I was scapegoated as a result of that.
2020 hindsight is great for the next time around.
Yeah.
Yes. So super. So we are now up for the next module, which is about how to create change in human systems.
I need some of that, Michael. That change in human systems.
It's coming right up. Coming right up.
All right. So thank you. Thank you all for listening to me struggle through that exercise. As you can see, it's pretty hard to understand that I had a role to play. And even if many other people saw that system as dysfunctional, I stepped into it and I didn't have the support that I needed. I didn't have, I didn't really understand who the system was there and who was a part of the system and what I could have done to make it better. So thank you for that conversation, Michael.
My pleasure.
And so what's up next? Creating change in human systems is what you said.
Mm-hmm. I just want to second what you just said, that if we don't see ourselves as part of the system and contributing to whatever the system is doing, we will not be able to make any change in it. And that is what will be the focus of our next module, which will be the last module of this course.
Great, thank you. And if people want to find out more, where do they go?
When this is over, well, if they got into this course, they know how to do it now.
So go to the online forum if you have any questions.
There you go.
All right. Thank you, Michael. And
my pleasure.
Time to say goodbye, Michael.
Goodbye, Michael. And goodbye to you too, Ronnie.
All right. Bye for now.